I was introduced to the Media Studio a couple of years ago after hoping to find a more creative outlet for my students to learn. I teach American Sign Language and was finding that my students were having difficulty recalling the signs I was teaching in class. The text we use includes the vocabulary we are learning, but spread out over the course of each chapter and sometimes makes it more difficult for the students to access those signs. I visited the Media Studio and I shared my vision for making videos of sign vocabulary to pair with class instruction in hopes to enrich my students' knowledge outside of the classroom. The team, they were so pleasant and they were willing to accept the challenge. They gave me ideas and the many facets of what the studio could do for me as an instructor and for my students also. So I began making videos of each chapter that I was using, and I was using the signs the students are learning, and the Media Studio team added closed captioning, so that way it could be accessible to all of my students. So my students are benefiting from these videos daily still. And I received many comments from my students that it's a positive learning outcome for them. So during this time of video production, I also received an award to internationalize the curriculum in my intermediate ASL4 class. So I had made a connection with a deaf school in Palestine and also was coming into the Media Studio to Skype with my class with Palestine. And we learned some Arabic Sign Language. And while the principal of the deaf school in Palestine learned American Sign Language. A few of my students, and also myself, made an Arabic American Sign Language dictionary using signs we had learned from Palestine and showing both Arabic and the American signs. And coincidentally, I also had a student in my deaf culture class whose first language was Arabic, and he was able to come to the Media Studio and voice over in Arabic and correct any Arabic language that was shown conceptually inaccurate with Google Translate. Once the post-production was complete, we sent an electronic copy to the deaf school in Palestine for their research and use. This video is also used in classes here at Santa Fe still. So after spending much of my summer in the Media Studio recording the sign videos and the dictionary, I then began having my students sign their projects in front of the camera, where I could go back and view for further grading. And this became a great tool for the students to view their own skills, and I use them for project examples and also to motivate the students to see what their skills can become. So really in all, the Media Studios helped me become more organized and well-rounded as an instructor, and helps my students outside of class to prepare for signs I have not yet taught them. And I really feel language fluency has improved, and there's rarely that vocabulary barrier that students were once experiencing. So I'm really grateful to the Media Studio team for their expertise, their creativity, and sometimes patience with my somewhat broad ideas I bring to the table. So together, we have really been able to produce videos that are now used internationally.